Hey, Stewart's Chapel, Don Pierson here, and Don counts behind the camera. We're at the church's office. We're going through these devotions on burdens, what God has to say, and today is Wednesday, September the 21st. Wednesday, September 21st. I started doing the dates because Don suggested that we do that, but my wife just the other day, or actually today, said to me, I miss when you say the date, and so I'm doing the date for her as well. So, honey, I love you. This is for you. All right. I want to be in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16. I have used this in other passages for devotions. Um, you're going to think I don't get the connection. I'll be honest with you. This devotion, I've encountered this issue many times, and some of you preachers out there, I asked you to kind of help me because I have not been able to find a scripture that really speaks to this need. And so I'm using this one because as this is about the closest I can find. It's in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15 and 16. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Redeeming the time. Redeeming the time. I want to talk to you about burdens of regret. Burdens of regret today. There is a place in Genesis 6, verse 7. Let me read it to you. Genesis 6, 7. It's talking about, this is before the flood. God sees what has happened to man. Let's start in verse 6 and read down through 7. The Lord was sorry in the sense that he regretted that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, and birds of the air, for I am sorry, I am grieved, or I regret that I have made them. Now, there have been, I don't know how many discussions I've ever had with people about that verse, and the word regret is difficult for us. I don't think that it is appropriate with God, especially when you understand the Hebrew word for regret. The Hebrew word for regret means to sigh. The Hebrew word for regret, the Hebrew word for the English word regret means to sigh. It is a heaviness, a burden. That's the impression of the Hebrew that is used in Genesis 6. God sees the wickedness of man, and there is heaviness with him. There's heaviness, he sighs. Every now and then, I will have someone, usually when it's too late, either when there's a divorce or death or a relationship has been broken or whatever, the relationship is cut off where they can't do what they need to do. And an individual will, with great heaviness and tears, share with me that they wish they had it to do over again. That maybe they would do things differently. Now, don't hear me. I'm not saying that that's what God is doing in Genesis, okay? But when you and I find the burden of regret, that heavy sigh, that heaviness that comes because we realize that or at least think, it maybe not even be the truth, but we think that if we had done something differently, said something differently, that things may have turned out differently. That sigh, that heaviness is much heavier when it is impossible to go back and fix what they believe is wrong or done. Because in my own life, I've had to do that sigh. And because I've helped way too many people with that sigh, I've learned to tell people to redeem the time, as it says in Ephesians. Seize the moment. On more than one occasion, I've been with an individual and been very much aware that death was coming. Sometimes right before death, I've noticed that there's a window is open. A person who hasn't been right or even able to communicate, all of a sudden, you visit them and it's like, wait a second, something's different. Their situation hasn't changed, but God's given them a gift of clarity, ability to communicate and know what's going on. I remember an occasion had just left the VA hospital visiting a dear saint of a man. I had been many times, and he had deteriorated so much. But on this day, he was very right in his mind. As I left the hospital, I contacted several of their family and told them, I said, I understand that some of you are planning on coming tomorrow. I said, you need to come now. You do not need to wait till tomorrow. You need to come now. The one you love is able to receive you now. You need to come now. You need to seize the moment. You need to come now. Sometimes they've listened to me, and they would share with me the joy and thanks because of me calling them and telling them to come now. Other times they didn't go, and they would share with me their sigh, their regret because they just didn't go. That happened to me recently. Recently, I was with an individual that was fully alert in his mind, and I called a family member and told him, I said, I just left. You need to go now. You need to go now. And they did. It's hard to seek forgiveness from someone where the relationship is broken off, either by death or by whatever else. It's hard to share the gospel with someone once they've taken their last breath. It's hard to tell someone how much you love them and appreciate them when they take their last breath. Some burdens we should not carry. The burden of regret should not be ours. Seize the moment. Seize the moment. I have a book I've been saving that's in my desk right-hand drawer. It's a journal, a leather-backed journal that is filled with empty pages. I put it there with the intention of writing some notes to people that are dear to me. My wife, my children and grandchildren. It's been there for 2 years. I haven't wrote a single word in it yet. I hope to do that. I regret that I already haven't done that. I think one of the reasons I haven't done it is because I don't think I need to yet. Hey, the Lord, I'm not sick. The Lord's not coming right now. Well, is He? I don't know. Anyway, I haven't done it. But I have found myself, as the older I get, doing my very best to tell my children I'm proud of them and I love them greatly. That they've become great people, godly men and women. I've tried to tell my son-in-law and daughter-in-law the same thing. I'm very proud of them. I love them. I tried to do the same thing with my grandkids. But the truth is, there's probably a lot more I could say and do. You seize the moment, and you won't have to carry that burden, the burden of regret. Love you, Stewart's Chapel.